So today's session is recorded. If maybe another agent, your broker, your admin, someone just shared this link with you so you could join today and you have no idea how you got here or how to join another one of these sessions, you're more than welcome to scan the QR code that I'm showing up on my screen right now. That will take you to the page where you can go to register for one session or all the sessions that we offer. We do offer Success Meetup webinars every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They're always live. And typically, we'll usually have two more kind of beginner based sessions per week and usually one more advanced session per week. The advanced session usually on Wednesday with our Done For You services specialist, Heather. The more beginner focused or KV Core tool focused sessions are usually Tuesdays and Thursdays with a KV Core product trainer. But I will let you know there probably will be some changes in the coming months. If you're used to seeing a particular trainer on a particular day, just know that some of these might be changing in the coming weeks. Just a little heads up. Now, besides scanning the QR code on my screen to register in your KV Core platform, if you head on over to our training calendar, you'll be able to choose the time zone that best applies to you and register there. Again, you'll see a session for every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of the week. Now, for these sessions, if you want to get an idea of what our tips and tricks will be about before the session starts, if you want to know ahead of time, we typically post the upcoming topics in our Facebook discussion group, which actually you can get a quick link through the training calendar. And of course, I'll share it out in the chat right now if you're not already part of the Facebook group. We'd love to have you join our community. Great place to ask for advice, share your success stories. So lots to learn about in our discussion group. And just to give you a little visual, here we can see just posted an image about 20 hours ago. This week's topics today is about responding to new lead activity. Wednesday, I believe, is with Heather about triggering auto replies with text codes. And Thursday is with my fellow trainer, Christina, building an Are You Still There email templates. We'll talk a little bit about, best practices for email templates today, and Thursdays, I feel, would be a great follow-up session to that. And I think Heather's kind of been doing a series of text code webinars recently. So if you've been checking out Heather's content on Wednesday, I think she'll be following up with that text code conversation. All right, so we do post a lot of the recordings. We post the topics in the Facebook discussion group, and they're also recorded and added to our YouTube channel, typically within 48 hours. So you can also find the link to the YouTube channel here, but I think I've actually got it open for you guys. Let's go ahead and share that out in the chat real quick. youtube.com/@InsideRealEstate. And if you head to our playlist page, you'll find a playlist just for success meetups, tips, tricks, and Q&A. Oh yeah, absolutely. Someone in the chat's asking for that QR code again. Put it back on my screen for a couple moments, and then we'll get into today's topic or a little bit more leading in. So if I haven't introduced myself already, my name is Mariel Ortiz. I do teach a lot of these Tuesday sessions, or you might have caught me at an orientation, a building your pipeline webinar, how it works. Now, when I teach success meetups, when I teach a lot of webinars, I usually like to create a handy little guide for you guys. And this guide actually looks a little spiffier than usual. I usually like to include some handy links about the topics that we'll cover here today. These are typically links to our various support articles. If I reference any other of our past YouTube videos, I'll probably pop them onto this guide as well. Now, I definitely encourage you guys to practice what you learned today and, not only, absorb the information, but to try it out for yourself, make sure it all sinks in. So I definitely encourage you to practice what you learned today by creating an email or text template of your own. We'll kind of lead to that. I'll also talk about creating test leads to try out the system. And of course, if you haven't downloaded the mobile app, we'll talk about that today too. I have included in my guide links to the YouTube channel and Facebook discussion group in case you didn't grab those in the chat. And I always put on my guide, with the exception of last week where there was an issue with the recording, I typically always put the recording link here as well. So you guys have quick access to it. I can usually get that recording link added to this guide within a few hours if you want to watch it again. And then, of course, we'll add to the YouTube channel usually within 48 hours. So here is the guide going down in the Zoom chat right now. So I just shared that link out so you guys can access it. And of course, I might make updates to this right now. It's just got some support articles linked. But let's talk about today's agenda specifically. So just out of curiosity, how many of you out there are perhaps new to KV Core, new to the platform, receive the platform maybe within, this month or so? All right, I'm seeing a couple raised hands. I'm seeing a couple people saying that you are or that you're new. All right, so we look like we've got about a handful of you that are brand new. Thanks for letting me know, guys. So just want to double check here before we get started. Have you guys, not new, but might as well be new. That's okay. If you, maybe you've had the platform a little while, but now's the time where you're taking the opportunity to devote some time to getting to know it. That's great. We'd love to have you here. So, wanted to showcase in the platform itself, since we'll be talking a lot about the differences between the platform itself and the mobile app. If you have not downloaded the mobile app, I want to show you a quick way to find that through your KV Core platform. Now, for a lot of you, you could simply go to the App Store and download the KV Core app, but some of you out there will have custom branded versions of the mobile apps. I'm sorry, I just noticed a question in the Q&A. I'll come back to that in just a second here. Now, some of you out there might have custom branded versions of the mobile app, depending on your brokerage. It's not every brokerage out there, but a lot of them do. So if you think that might be you, I'm definitely going to encourage you to download it through KV Core. In fact, I pretty much recommend this to everyone just as a easy way to ensure that you're downloading the correct version. So if you've got access to your platform, in the upper right hand corner of your dashboard, there should be a button that says download mobile apps. Again, upper right hand corner of your platform, where you should hopefully see a little blinking circle above my cursor here. Now, when you go to click there, it gives you a brief description of each of the mobile apps. And if you have an iPhone or an Android, you should be able just to click the button and it should text a link to your phone to go and download those. And that's especially important if you, again, have the custom branded version, because it's going to send you a version specific to your brokerage. Now, there is the KV Core mobile app. This is KV Core on the go. You often might also hear us refer to this as the mobile dialer. So really efficient for handling your daily calls. And then you've got the Open House app as well, which is very effective for collecting open house guest information while you're running your open houses. That information just backs up directly to your CRM in the platform. So both apps available to you. Today, we'll mostly be talking about that main KV Core mobile app. So just something I wanted to mention beforehand. So apologies, someone's having issues, and we've had a couple people saying that they're having issues with the app. So I have made it where you can view it. Typically, you should be able just to click the link itself, and it should open it up in a Google Sheet, or sorry, a Google Doc on your screen. Let me see as well. There are limits to what I can add in the chat. So let me see as well. See, the only problem with downloading it and sending it on over to you guys is that these links will no longer be active. So if you can, try again. I know a lot of users, the habit is when you see that in the chat is to try to highlight that link, copy and paste it. But typically just clicking the link itself will have the best results to open it up on your screen. So apologies if you're having issues opening that up on your side. I do want to mention there's nothing groundbreaking in here. These are all links that you can find from our support center. So support and training, this tab in your platform, if you head on over to the support center, that's where all of these articles are located. Really, all I did was compile them in based on, what we're talking about here today. So you have quick access to learn more about your dashboard, more about the mobile apps, the smart number, things that we'll talk about here today. All right. So for today's agenda, responding to new lead activity, we're going to start really basic with how new leads register on your website. And for those of you that haven't even looked at your KV Core website yet, we'll point out that as well. We'll also talk about how to find new lead activity. So how you're notified, what you can look out for, what you can expect, and then how to respond through either the computer platform or the mobile app, because we know it's not always convenient to log into your computer to check this activity. Sometimes you're on the go. You're going from open house to listing appointment. You're checking in on your clients. So it might not always be practical to, have to respond and use the platform, the computer version of the platform for everything. So that's what we're going to talk about here today. Now, starting with your websites, each of you should have a website that's integrated with your platform. There are a select few accounts out there that maybe don't have your own personal website that's integrated into your platform. It's a pretty rare instance. If that is you, if you go to your, say, KV Core platform, and you click in the upper right-hand corner where your name is located, and you don't see a little globe icon here, that's a quick way to your KV Core website. You might have an account that doesn't have one integrated. Again, it's pretty rare. Most brokerages do. If that is the case for you, you should have the option to purchase your own website through the marketplace. But again, most accounts will have this integrated in. If you just click that globe icon, it'll take you to your websites. So I'm going to let mine load up real quick as we move along. Another way to find your website is through the Web and IDX tab. When you click there directly, you should see a link to your website as well, so which is very handy, of course, to know what your website is. We want to use that to, send it out to our leads after we've got them added to the CRM. You might want to consider adding it to your email signature in KV Core, maybe a link that directs people to look at homes or to sign up for a home valuation from your website. So very important that we know where to locate that and that link to share out to our users. Oh, skip back there. All right. Now, when a lead goes to your personal agent website, because again, you'll all have your own, but keep in mind, typically, if you're part of a team, your team also has its own website. And whatever office you're a part of, your office has a website, and even sometimes your company has a website. So if a lead is coming to your company or your office websites, those leads will be distributed based on however your admins or brokers set it up. So there's always a chance that you could be receiving some leads that are from your company or office. They might be assigned to you to work, but they're going to still be owned by the larger office or company and might even require your acceptance. So it's a good idea to know how you'll be notified of new leads, because in some cases you have to okay that you're receiving it. Most likely your broker or admin, someone in your brokerage, is going to let you know if that's the situation where you have to accept the leads in order to receive them. But any leads that come to your personal KV Core website, they are both assigned and owned by you. You're the one who's working the lead. You're the one who can delete that lead, take it out of KV Core, archive it if you need to. Now, something else, actually, before we skip ahead really quick, I do want to mention, we talk about websites a lot here. I've got a lot of users that someone's been doing some editing on the back end. Not sure why that puppy logo is there. But I got a lot of users that, get really excited, especially when you're new, to edit the website, especially the home page, and how it looks. And I get the understanding there. Definitely exciting to have your own own website, put your own flair, make it visually appealing to you. But think about it, most of your leads, well, if they were to land here on the homepage of your site, it's easy for them to search for homes. They'll probably have some buttons on your site that will encourage them to get started with a search or sign up for a home valuation, something to that effect. But most users aren't going to start on your home page. Most new leads that you generate are going to be directed to your site because, maybe they did a search that led them back to a custom page on your site or led them back to a blog post that you have. Or, maybe they were directed back to your site because you created a landing or a squeeze page or some sort of lead generation tool that directs users back to sign up for a home valuation or directs users to sign up for a search alert. So usually if they're coming to your site, they're going directly to a source that's going to ask them to sign up for more information, a page that's going to encourage them to register. They're going to really kind of the value adds of your page, not directly to the home page. So it's just something to note there. I know it's exciting to, I definitely encourage you if to have the time, feel free to adjust the visual aspects of your website through the Web and IDX tab, but just know that your websites are built out of the box to already start capturing leads for you. And I apologize, my internet's running just a little bit slow today, so the website's acting a little funny. All right. So again, we talked through how to access your agent website, again, through your KV Core platform. Upper right-hand corner, you'll see a hidden menu with your name. You'll be able to click on that, and usually it's the globe icon, the third or so icon down, that will direct you to your site. Now, if you haven't done so already, for my new users out there, definitely encourage you to maybe register yourself as a test lead, again, through any of the places where someone can sign up through your site. So you could go to the search page. You could search and sort through listings. And if you go to favorite a property or save a search, it's going to ask you to register. If you go to your sell tab, it's going to ask you to register. I do encourage you, if you're creating a test lead in the system, so that way you can test out future messaging, things like, if we get into things like sending out emails or text messages, if you want to try out those templates, if you want to try out a campaign that you build for yourself, it's a good idea to have a test lead to practice on. Just one piece of advice that I'll give you, use a different email address and cell phone number than whatever you have listed in your KV Core profile. And again, if you're not even at the profile stage, if you've never seen your profile, that's also located in the little hidden menu in the upper right-hand corner. And you head to the profile button there. So just a different email address and cell phone number, because if you're using that test lead that has the same cell phone number of you in the platform, it might cause some issues. I don't know if you've ever tried to call your own phone number, but that phone call cannot be completed as dialed. So different information for your test leads. Yeah, so someone in the chat was asking, is there an email sent out from KV with KV Core login info? If you haven't logged into KV Core yet, maybe you're still waiting for access. A little surprising. Not sure how you found this webinar, but that's okay. So you should be receiving a welcome email coming from no-reply@kvcore.com. So if you are looking for your welcome email that's going to grant you access in, that's where it's going to be coming from. And quite personally, that's not a bad one to save as a contact in your email address, no-reply@kvcore.com, because we'll also talk about how you're going to be notified of new lead activity. And those new lead emails will also come from no-reply@kvcore.com. So that's a good one to look out for in your inbox regardless. So that welcome email, when you get it, should have a link to log on in, and should be able to sign in, should have your information there to sign in. Now, some of you out there, depending on your brokerage, might have very specific sign-in information, so unfortunately won't go into the details of that. But if you're still struggling, if you haven't received that welcome email, or if you're not sure what you should be logging into, your broker or admin would also be probably a good person to ask for that information. They should be able to advise you from there. So definitely encourage you guys to, if you haven't already, just register as a test lead through your website, or you can manually enter a contact if you like, so that way you can test out different messaging in the platform. But since we're talking about locating new lead activity today, signing in through your website is a great first step to try, because when you sign into your website as a new lead, you're going to be notified. And these are key places that you want to look out for in your platform and if you're using the mobile app. So let's get into those. So when a new lead registers, you'll see that not only in your activity stream, so that's through the computer platform. You can also see your activity stream in the mobile app. I'll show you where to go in a second here. You'll also should receive an email, as I mentioned, from no-reply@kvcore.com. So a new lead notification. And then if you're using the mobile app, if you downloaded that, and if you have push notifications enabled, you'll probably see a little pop-up on your cell phone that says new lead opportunity. And you go to click there, it'll take you to your new lead in the app. And in some cases, you might even receive a phone call from the smart number as well. We'll talk about where to go for your smart number if some of you out there are scratching your heads. What's a smart number? We'll talk about that too. All right, so in the platform, let's start with activity stream. What is the activity stream? So on your main dashboard, very first page you land on when you're logged into kvCORE, if you scroll down just a little bit, you're going to see activity, calls, and tasks. We're going to talk about this. Oh, I'm so sorry. Just paused here to check the Q&A. As the admin, can a duplicate email be sent to you? That's an excellent question, because the admin, any admin, if you're an admin on the call today and you're not sure how to send your agents the welcome email, also through your name in the little upper right-hand corner, you can click on agents and you can actually send your welcome email here. Now, I'm just one person. I'm just in an agent account, so I'm not going to see the my list of agents because I'm not in an admin account, but that's how you would send the welcome email if you're an admin, sending that out to your agents. You could technically send it to yourself. The only thing is you'll have to be able to be in your kvCORE platform to send that. I would say if for some reason you're not able to access your account, there's issues with logging in, you could try reaching out to our support team. Oh, could you resend the lead emails? At this time, to my knowledge, there's not a way to resend the new lead emails, but that is a really interesting idea. That would be kind of nice to be able to obviously prompt your agents, if maybe they missed it beforehand. Now, there is many different areas, as we're going to talk about, that your agents should be checking for their new lead activity, even if for some reason they didn't receive that email, maybe went to spam, maybe they deleted it accidentally. There is other places they should be checking to help hold them accountable. But I would say, that's not a bad suggestion. That would be definitely a really incredible admin privilege. So I'll probably, I've probably mentioned this nearly every success meetup, but if you have suggestions like that would improve our kvCORE platform, you can always click on the little chat button, the bottom right-hand corner. Scroll on down, there is an area that says share your product ideas, and you can make suggestions, things that you'd love to see added to the kvCORE platform. Now, that's not a guarantee that you're going to see these changes. It's not going to be instantaneous, but we do keep track of all those suggestions. They get added to a list, and those that get voted for the most do tend to show up on our future roadmaps when we do make updates to the kvCORE platform, which I will say our development team is always working on something new. I will say, unfortunately, because this is not an admin session, I don't want to get too far away from kind of the content that's planned today. That's really a little bit more agent focused and how the everyday agent can use it, because we probably have more agents than admins on today's call. There is ways that you can be notified. You can set up things called accountability rules for your agents within your offices. And if you're not familiar with those admin features that help you be notified if your agents are following up, and if they're, notifying you as well, if, maybe an agent gets, if a lead goes to their site and say requests a all right, that's not working today. But if someone goes to their site and requests a showing, or say, let me go to all activity real quick here to show you what I mean here. So besides new leads, I did have my activity stream set to show new leads. But, if someone comes to your website and requests a showing, or if they say ask a question on your site, that also shows up here. The agent should also be notified. But those are things that are quite pressing. We want to make sure that our agents not only see that and are responding to that, but that it's done in a timely manner. So I will say, I believe it was Tina, as an admin, there are settings that you can set in the system that will notify you if an agent hasn't responded to, say, a showing request or an ask question in the platform. So there is ways that you can get notified of that. So I will go ahead and put in the chat a article about accountability rules. Agent accountability tools. So I'll share this link in the chat if you have not checked that out already. I would also say, as an admin, if you have not taken we have an admin quick start course in the learning portal, that would be great for you. And also, I believe there is an admin webinar through our training calendar as well that would probably make some suggestions to help you stay notified if your agents are get new leads and if they're following up with that activity. So just something to be aware of. I think it's good for agents as well to know that your admins can, and have some rules. They can double check that you're following up with things like the calls and tasks that are assigned to you. So here we are on the dashboard, and I mentioned that when that new lead comes through your website, you'll typically see it here in your activity stream. Now, the activity stream is not only going to show you new leads, but new text messages, new emails, as I mentioned, requested showings, if they ask a question, sign up for a home valuation. So it's all here. It's all mixed in, all activity. If I just wanted to skip to my new leads, I can choose that from the drop-down menu or click the new leads button, and it will reorganize my activity. Today, we're also going to talk a bit about calls and tasks. And I would say, if there's one area that you regularly check, either the computer platform, or again, if you're on the go, use the mobile app. These are the three things that we want to keep on top of. We want to know when there's new lead activity or recurring lead activity, active lead activity. And we want to know if we have any calls or tasks assigned to us, because we want to make sure we stay on top of those. So a couple different key areas that we want to check here. Now, couple best practices just while we're sitting here on the activity stream. You'll notice not only can I see that activity, but there's a couple other things I can do from the screen as well. So it's all about being quick, being productive, being efficient. You can, of course, follow up with those new leads. It'll show you, if you have their email, you'll have the option to email them. If you have their cell phone number, you'll have the option to call or text. And then core video is an option as well. Just because I mentioned it, just so you guys know, Core Video is a tool which allows you to send videos to your contacts in your CRM. Now, there's both a free sample and there's a paid version to Core Video. The free version, which I've gone and I've just downloaded real quick. If you don't see this screen, it'll usually prompt you to download Core Video first. Or launch Core Video first, and that'll allow you to use the free version. So I could record a video using my camera and my microphone, and I can send that out to this contact in an email. I can do that for 10 individuals per calendar month with the free version. The paid version, so if I want to upgrade to Pro, that's $30 a month, allows me to send videos in email or text message, and even save those videos in a library that I can use again and again. So you'll notice if I click on video, I don't have the ability to save them right now because I've just got the free version here. All right, so different ways that you can follow up with your leads here, and you can click on the image of the listing. It'll take you to that listing in your listings tab within KV Core. So good places to check on a regular basis. So that's using the computer version of the platform. Now for the mobile app, you can also access activity in the app. So when you first log into your app, you'll use the same login information to log into the app as you do for the computer version of the platform. And in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll have what's your inbox. And the inbox will, of course, show you any, do emails, things like that. But you've also got the next tab over, which is your activity. And that'll essentially doesn't look quite as fancy as the activity stream on the computer platform. You're dealing with a little less space here, but in kind of a list format, it will show you your recent activity from the platform. And of course, like the computer platform, you can choose what activity you're looking at. And your notifications, which are things like the calls and tasks you need to follow up with. All right, so we talked about wanting to make sure we're keeping on top of our activity stream, our calls, and our tasks. Since calls and things like emails are really kind of what we're going to be talking about next when it comes to follow-up, I just want to quickly also address tasks before we move along, because completing a task is just ever so slightly different from, say, completing a call that's assigned to you. And while we're hitting on best practices, I think it's helpful sometimes just to point this out real quick. So your tasks in the platform can be found in a couple different ways. We already showed tasks from your main dashboard, those 3 listed together activity stream calls tasks. You've also got your toolbar notifications, which is kind of like the computer platform equivalent of notifications in the app. And then if you're clicking on an individual contact that you're checking, they also have tasks in their contact records. So let's look at those and what they look like real quick. So calls, tasks, we'll get into those. We've got notifications up here at the top. These notifications, little check mark icon, you'll see no matter where you are in the platform. And for some of you, this might be the first place that you look. If you're anything like me, I know when I look at my, say, cell phone next to any of the apps, you've got that red number looming at you. If you've got text messages or something that you haven't responded to, I know that's the first thing my eye gravitates towards. So for some of you, it might just make sense, or you might be checking your tasks by checking your notifications. And this is going to show you not only task reminders, but your scheduled calls as well. So it just kind of merges them all together, both calls and tasks in one place. So if you don't want to address them separately, it's all together here in your notifications. But also additionally, let's just click on a contact here. If I click on their name, it'll open their contact record. Or if I was in my CRM looking at all my contacts, if I clicked on any name, I could see their contact record. So if you have a task, it'll typically show you right here at the top. So for example, I've got a past due task to give them a call. They haven't been called in the last month, and they viewed properties in the last 6 months. Uh-oh, naughty me. Want to make sure that I address that here. So I can give them a call. I can snooze it. I can delete the task, but deleting it is not the same as, say, marking it done or completing that task. So don't be surprised if I don't actually call this lead, if this shows up on my call list again in the future, because KV Core is looking out for me. It's looking out for the people that I haven't been in touch with, and it's helping me to prioritize who I should reach out to. So I can go ahead and I can delete this if I want to, but don't be surprised if I get another one. And of course, I've got my next task is scheduled to give a weekly check-in. I can see it right here, or if I want to see all tasks for just this one individual lead, there's tasks up here at the top here. I see what's due today, all tasks, which ones are complete. Okay, so that's doing it through the computer platform. Oh, so sorry. I think I've skipped a slide here. Apologies, folks. So additionally, you've got tasks in the app as well. If you want to go, let me go back a couple of slides to our image of notifications here. Just a little reminder, I can click on that notifications tab and see things like my tasks there as well. And of course, you can view your individual contacts to pull up a task too. All right, so let's talk about more of the side of calling those contacts and emailing them. Now, little reminder, I just want to, add this in here and there. If you have any questions along the way, all Success meetups are also open Q&A. So whether you have questions about today's topic or something else to do with the KV Core platform, feel free to put those questions in the chat or Q&A box. And if they're related to our topic right now, I'll try to weave them into my conversation. If there's something unrelated, I'll try to make sure that there's time at the end to address those too. So just want to make sure, just always try to put that message out there. If you came here because you were looking for advice or help on something, I do want to make sure you realize that's a resource, that we're here to be a resource to you. All right. Responding to those new leads. Now I showed through the activity stream that I could just call that lead right from my computer. There's also the call tab next to tasks. We'll show you how to complete a call through the computer platform, but there's something to be aware of. When you're calling through the computer platform, also when you're texting through the computer platform, it's going to use your digital smart number. Now, all of you out there have a smart number, not to switch around too much here, but we're spending a lot of time in this upper right-hand corner here today, this hidden menu. If you're not familiar, you have a phone number located here. That's going to be different from your cell phone number. And this is called your smart number. Now we have a couple YouTube videos on the smart number. I'll go back after we're all done here. I don't want to waste your time looking for those videos now, but I'll go back and I'll add those later to my guide. So if you guys want to watch more content on the smart number, I know sometimes it can seem a little confusing to some of our new users out there. We've got some great videos that go really in depth. But here's what I like to explain about the smart number, the kind of the need to know items about your smart number. Your smart number is a digital number. It's what allows you to complete calls, send text messages, and have that information route back to the contacts in your CRM and update your CRM so you know who you've sent a call to, who you've sent a text to. Now, that smart number is typically a shared office smart number, which means everyone in your office has the same smart number. And it's going to be different from the number I'm showcasing here. So don't bother taking down mine. You're going to have a different number in your accounts. But the smart number is shared. So unless you purchase your own, which is an option through the marketplace, you'll see a tile for smart number there if you want to purchase your own. Not typically necessary for most users to need their own smart number. And I'll explain, how it works with sharing that number. Now, because it's a shared number, it's not something we necessarily want to share with our new leads unless we're using something that specifically ties it back to our account, like a text code. That's one of our lead generation tools. You can create a text code that people text to your smart number that tells the system, oh, hey, it's this person's lead. They'll direct it to your CRM. So the smart number itself, we don't want to put it on our own websites. We don't want to put it on our print advertising if it's not just our own. The smart number will live on your office website. And if someone calls that smart number and it's a new lead and it doesn't belong to any of the agents in the office, it'll follow whatever routing rules your office has set up to route those new leads. Now, we do, as we're going to be calling and texting potentially our contacts in our CRM for this number, we do want to introduce it to them. Any contacts that you've added to your CRM, feel free to introduce them to your smart number. Feel free to say, hey, I've got a new work number. I would love if you just added this as a contact in your phone. So that way, if you receive a call or an email, call or a text from me, it's just me on the other end texting you from my other number. And if they receive that, if they reply back, if that contact's in your CRM, the smart number knows it's your contact, so it's able to route it back to you. It's just not recommended for new leads, as there's no way to show that that was a new lead that's owned by you unless it's already in your smart CRM. So smart number, we want to introduce it to the contacts in our CRM. We don't want to put it on our print advertising, but we do probably want to add this as a contact in our phone. I mentioned that a lot of you will, when you get a new lead, you're going to receive a notification. You might receive a call to your phone from the smart number letting you know that you've got new lead activity. So we want to know when KV Core is calling us to notify us of new lead activity follow up with. So couple key things there. We're saving the contact in our phone. We're adding it to our contacts. Hopefully our contacts are adding it to their phones as a contact. How many times can I say contact in a row? And then additionally, I do want to warn you, you probably don't want to call the smart number yourself. Again, for that same concept that we don't want to direct new leads to the smart number without, say, a text code. The system, if you try to call that smart number, it's going to think you're a new lead, and it could go to potentially another agent in your office. So no reason for you guys to call your smart number, but just a little insight in how it works. All right. So the smart number, again, is a digital office number that your calls and texts through this computer platform of the system will deliver from. Now, when you're using the mobile app to call or text a lead, it'll typically give you an option. Do you want them to be called or text through your cell phone number or through the smart number? Now, one benefit of using the smart number, again, through that mobile app, is that it's going to log that you've completed those calls and text messages. So that way you can see when you go back to check their contact record, oh, when was the last time I texted them? Well, it's all stored in your CRM for you. And same thing with your calls. If you want to get, if you want to get, I don't want to say permission, if you want to get, nope, just totally blank. Apologies, folks. I think I need a little bit more coffee. But if you want to show the system that you have completed that call, using that smart number is going to log that for you. Whereas if you use the mobile app, you'll probably want to go back and log that you completed that call. So we'll talk about logging a call. Nothing wrong with logging your calls as well. And if you're not ready to make a call now, keep in mind you can always do things like add tasks for yourself to remind you to call a contact or a client in the future, especially in a business where we're, go, go, go. You're meeting new people every day. Don't feel like you need to simply rely on your memory to keep track of every person you call. It's really easy just to pull up your mobile app, set yourself a task to remind yourself to reach out to someone later. So that way you've got a handy little reminder and you don't have to worry on our sometimes very failable minds to keep track of that information. Now, okay, so let's jump in. Let's talk about completing these calls. I mentioned I could call right here. If I open up a contact, I can call them from their contact record. You're going to see those actions on the right-hand side. I can complete a new call this way. And additionally, I can, call from quick actions. That's an option here. I can call from the mobile app. So lots of different ways that I can complete this call. And I'll just click on the calls tab here, since this again is another good place where you should hopefully be checking in. I don't have any calls today, but I always save my past due ones just to give you guys an example. I know you guys are all Rockstar agents. I'm sure you're not going to have any past due calls in your accounts, but if you did, this is what it would look like. Now, I can, snooze those, delete them, very similar to tasks. But if I want to call on the spot, I click the call button. What it's going to do is it's going to first ring my cell phone number. It's going to be the smart number on the other line. I'm going to pick it up. It's going to give you a little automated message, something like press 1 to connect. And then it's going to connect me to my contact that I'm trying to call here. So typically it would be, whoever I said it selected to call. But I could go and I could also, find a contact in my database to call here. So there we go. And I could call now. Now, I could also log the call, especially if you're new to the system, if you're not used to calling through a computer, or maybe it's not a knee-jerk reaction to open up the mobile app and call through the app before you reach out to that client. And sure, for a lot of you, if you're just in the moment, you're going to pick up your phone and you're going to call them. Or if you're at the office, you're going to pick up the phone, you're going to call them. And after the fact, might remember, oh, I didn't use KV Core. I didn't use the mobile app. It's not logged. So you can log it after the fact here. You can also additionally, if your contacts call you, feel free to log that there was an inbound call. Add some notes for your future self about what you talked about, what was discussed, what details they gave you, any updates. So helping out your future self, because you can always reference that back in the CRM. And then additionally, let the system know, did you actually get a hold of them if you were reaching out to them? It's always not a bad idea as well to log the calls that they didn't respond to. Now, if they weren't home, it'll show that you tried to call them, but also they might show up on your call list in a week or so. If you weren't actually able to get a hold of them, the system can give you reminders to reach out again. And if it's a bad number, if it's disconnected, or there's some sort of other issue that prevents you from calling that number, clicking a bad number can remove that from the lead. So completing your calls, you can do it through the computer platform. You can log it after the fact. And of course, you can do it in the mobile app as well. And there's a couple different places that you're going to be able to access calls through the mobile app as well. So if you look at the bottom here, now I could go to my contacts, I could select an individual contact, but I recommend getting to know the dialer portion of your app. This is really, kind of genius here when you're on the go, because you can create different call lists. So you've got your daily calls. Those are the ones that KV Core is going to recommend to you. So it's going to look at, leads that have performed new lead activity. It's going to look at contacts, specifically your prospects, your new leads, your active leads in your system that maybe haven't been reached out to in a while. And it's going to help prioritize who you should be reaching out to. So your daily calls are there behind the scenes. It's actually an automation feature called daily call creation. But you can also create custom lists, life events lists. This is a list that can be created from your Work Your Sphere playbook. Not to get too off topic, if you've never used a playbook in KV Core, these combine the tools of the platform into a checklist of best practices. So I find that they can be really helpful, really any stage that you're in with your KV Core platform. But if you're a new user, if you're looking for ways to promote your listings through KV Core, love the Promote a New Listing playbook. But specifically, your Gather Your Sphere and Work Your Sphere playbooks here help to bring in your sphere of influence contacts, organize them, label them with hashtags so you can keep them organized in your CRM, and helps you fill in gaps, put them on automation. So walks you through that process. But in the Work Your Sphere playbook specifically, and just open it up real quick to make my point here, you can create what's called life events lists. So you can pull individuals from your CRM and categorize them based on different life events that they're going through. So if they're recently married, for example, I'll go and hit the next one. Who do you know who recently had a baby? Who do you know who's recently changed jobs, recently divorced? Things that might prompt a change in their living situation and might be good people to check in. And of course, you can create your own life event lists as well. It doesn't have to just be marriage or, new job. Anyone that you can think of, or any groups that you can think of that you regularly need to get in touch with. Maybe you've got maybe you import your for sale by owners and you want to check in with them. You want to create a list for that. Maybe you want to create a list for, specific groups that are looking for specific features. Maybe create a group for your investors. These are life events groups that you could create through this playbook and then access them through the mobile app. And you could dial those leads kind of back to back as well. And then additionally, it will separate out your new leads, new leads from the last 90 days. It'll show the newest ones first. And then, leads that are searching based on your activity stream, so new activity leads. And it also creates a custom list for inactive leads. And you can also dial by hashtag as well. So if you've gone and you organized your contacts in your CRM by hashtag, which is any phrase of your choosing, pool home buyer, buyer 2024. If you want to organize people by their zip code, those could all be hashtags. And you can pull up an entire group of individuals by hashtag and call them that way as well. Call one right after the other, back to back, and again, have those calls automatically logged for you, and see a dialing summary too. So really efficient, I would say that the app is where it's at when you're making your calls. Now, I know we're getting short on time here. We'll might stop with texting, and we might do kind of a part 2 to this. We'll see. I'd love to gauge your interest. Is this interesting so far? Is this helpful for anyone who maybe hasn't used the app just yet? And, feel free if you got other questions beyond what we're talking about here, feel free to mention those in the chat or Q&A with the time we've got remaining. But I might not get too much into emails. We might kind of wrap up with text messages. Thank you very much for that comment in the chat. But yes, we might wrap it up with texting. We might do kind of a part 2 that's more so about emails, but let's see where we land with the rest of our time remaining. So texting your contacts. Again, if you're using the computer platform, they're going to be coming from your smart number. You can send them from anywhere where you make a call, the activity stream, the contact record, your CRM. You can use the mobile app. Now, kvCORE does have a lot of pre-created templates for you. We call them, most of the places where you go to send a text message, they'll be called canned responses, but just know that that's a template. So in the kvCORE platform, let's go ahead and let's go to the dashboard, or let's actually go to the CRM for a change. Let's mix up how I'm grabbing this for a change. I'm just going to grab a random lead here. We'll do Shaquille Oatmeal. And I'll, go to send him a text. Now, I will admit I've got some extra features here that you're probably not likely to see in your accounts. Smart Assistant, powered by ChatGPT, is still in kind of the demo stages. I believe we have a past Success Meetup webinar on that tool. So if you want to know more about it, but don't be surprised if you don't see that in your account. Apologize, our demo accounts get all the perks. So you're seeing some differences potentially in my account than you would see in your own. But yes, you can type in your own message, but you're always welcome to use the canned responses or the templates pre-created by kvCORE. We've got a lot of options for you for these follow-up texts. And a lot of these will also, kind of fill in, include what's called merge tags that will insert their name or your name into those messages. So those messages look personalized to who it is sending out to. And of course, you can do that through the app as well. You can do it from an individual. You can, go into their contact record and you'll see send a text from my smart number or send a text from my cell phone number. It does mention these texts are not tracked in kvCORE, so it does give you a little reminder if you forget. And then additionally as well, after you complete a call, and go to say log the results there, you can send a follow-up text message right after calling them as well. So a little extra built-in feature with that app. All right, we're about 2 minutes away. I just saw a question in the Q&A. Is there a list somewhere that really shows what they will all say at a quick glance? So unfortunately, there's not anything like that. I do feel like you're not the first person to, say, oh, I'd love to see all templates at a quick glance. You could say, send a mass text, click on canned response. It is pretty easy to kind of switch through them and, just check all of them if you really wanted to. I know it's not as efficient as seeing it all listed out. I will say in your marketing tab, in Smart Campaigns. We were going to get to this after emails, but just because it kind of is in line with your question, I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys right now again through marketing, through your Smart Campaigns. This is where we have all your templates located. All the templates that kvCORE provides for you, whether it's an email template, a text message template, call, task, you name it, they're all located here. Now, again, when you're viewing it this way, it's not showing you, what each one says. You can clone it and it'll show you what it says. What I could even say if you really wanted to is you could kind of copy that message and you could paste them into, say, a Google Doc if you wanted to just quickly have it for your own reference. But at this time, there's nothing created quite like that for you. I could see that easily becoming something that they maybe create in the future where you could just click the template and see the message a little bit faster, because just I want to say just about a year ago, they updated the Smart Campaigns where there is now inline editing. It used to be where you could select a template, but it wouldn't tell you what was in the template from the campaign page. And that's an update that they recently made. So that seems not that far away from them creating that kind of same feature in other areas where you view templates. So wouldn't be surprised if that's something that they update in the future. Definitely see how that could be an easy fix. But yes, if you want to view all your templates, you can check them here. And I know we didn't really get into creating your own templates. That might be a part 2, but feel free to create your own text or email templates here as well, or you can even clone the existing ones and make your own edits to them and resave them. All right. I think that's a good place to end today's session. So a little recap here. Thanks for joining us here today for kvCORE Success Meetup, responding to new lead activity online and using the mobile app. We will most likely have a part 2. It will not be next Tuesday. I unfortunately will not be here. You'll have another product trainer, but probably in a week or 2 from then. So we'll have a part 2 at some point to talk about email messaging. And if you're unable to catch it live, you can always catch them, the past recordings from the YouTube channel. I'll make sure to put today's recording on this guide. If you missed it, I'm popping it in the chat again. So you should hopefully be able to click that link, save the guide for yourself. This is where I'll be updating today's recording, and I'll also make sure to add it to the YouTube channel, hopefully within 48 hours. Thanks, guys, for joining us here today, and I wish you all lots of success with your kvCORE platforms. Take care.